On a trip south, we ended up driving through the night since both of our chosen campsites were full. We woke up to a glorious view, and we also saw some really cool elephant seals. The next day we headed to the campsite we hoped to stay at early, in the hope that it would be empty. So let's find out if we end up staying by the side of the road again, or if we actually have a place to sleep. Turns out that our number one choice of place to stay for the night was available. So we're on Willow Creek Road, in a place that we think we're actually allowed camp. We've got this glorious view of the mountains behind us. And out front, the Pacific. The only slight issue is as cars pass, it kicks up a big cloud of dust. Turns out that right below our campground was Willow Creek Beach, along with some of the most spectacular coastal scenery I had seen along the entire Pacific seaboard. There was a bunch of surfers waiting to get in the water, and we got to watch the most amazing sunset that night as well. After spending the night at a little gravel pull-out on a forestry track, we took a drive into the woods in behind the mountains. Came across this beautiful section of redwoods and this little stream, or creek in the local parlance, I guess. You will find me in the place I know. It's great to see redwoods outside of some national park setting, but this is how they start, and I guess they grow to be an awful lot bigger than they currently are, with trunks that are an awful lot wider. Just looked up behind the van and saw that there is a big one, a really huge redwood. See how thick its trunk is. It goes way up. Design of our world, ain't nobody understand. Palm of your hand. As long as we are flying, all this world ain't got no end. All this world ain't got no end. Coming from Boston on America's East Coast, we thought we were pretty far from home while driving the West Coast, and then we came across this French registered camper van with French license plates, something I've never seen in America before. And from reading the rough itinerary sketched in the back of the van, it looked like they'd driven this vehicle the entire way from South America. Really incredible. In the daytime, by your side, trying to do my best, trying to make things right, when it all turns wrong. On our trip back north, we stopped off at McWay Fells, named after some of the early inhabitants of the area. The site was purchased by the Brown family to build a house upon, called Waterfall House, and it seems the current path of the waterfall was only caused by some landscaping where they rerouted the flow of the river. The site of Waterfall House is all that's left. It was demolished in 1962 as part of the desires of the Brown family to transform this beautiful landscape into a national park.
As long as we are flying, all this world ain't got no ends. All this world ain't got no ends.
Traveling north brought us over the Bigsby Canyon Bridge, which is one of the tallest single-span concrete bridges in the world. It was built in 1932 because Big Sur inhabitants were cut off during the winter. The inland coastal road became impassable.
She may contain the urge to run away, but hold her down with soggy clothes and Breezeblocks.
Our trip north also brought us past Sobrains Point. It looked like there was some amazing hiking trails inland, but since we were only there for a weekend, we didn't have enough time. So we walked around the rocky coast and then continued north.
Way down how we build our breakfast down and say my love, love, love. La, 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 muscle to muscle, to toe to toe. The fear has gripped me, but here I go.
So after 3 days in a Volkswagen Camper, what do we think?
Yes, would do again.
Yeah, likewise. So it's a little different to the type of camper that I'm used to, which is a much longer, maybe 6-7 meter long Luton type camper with a bed above the roof of the cab. And I've never actually rented or used a van style camper before, but I've always wanted one. And so this is the first time I've ever slept in something so small, and it actually works really, really well. I've thought a lot about buying one of these older Volkswagen Westfalia Vanagons, but the prices vary vastly, from anywhere between $5,000 all the way up to $20,000, $30,000 and $40,000. They can be quite an expensive ticket item. And much cheaper still is the Eurovan style, or as they're known in Europe, the T5 or Transporter van. Much more modern systems and much cheaper to buy as well. The only problem is, on the east coast of the United States, there's very different attitudes to personal property compared to what we have in Europe, and people are very hostile to the idea of camping anywhere other than a campground, which you really need to book in advance. So I think that would take a lot of the enjoyment out of it, and it probably just wouldn't work for us.
Soggy clothes and Breezeblocks. Germany, disinfect the scene, my love, my love.
After lots of stops along the way, it was now time to really start hauling north towards San Francisco Airport. And we encountered some terrible traffic, as only the Bay Area can deliver en route as well. So we're locking up the camper for the last time, and I don't think either of us particularly want to leave it. I think we'd rather just keep going north to Portland. I'm now off to Sydney, Catherine's heading back to Boston, and our Uber's on the way to bring us to the airport. We've got about 2.5 hours before our flight, so a little bit tight, but hopefully we'll make it okay. So after the better part of 3 days in a Volkswagen Camper, what do we think?
2 thumbs up. Or we could be really cool and get a motorbike.
Really loud motorbikes
Yeah.
that ruin our video.
Yeah.
Let's try that again.